What's up, you guys? This is Professor O from Chart Addicts, and today I'm just going to go ahead and just cover potential setups for this week. We do have a lot of great moves coming up, so I'm just going to go ahead and just recap, um, what we're looking at. So I actually hit the ad. Just give me one sec. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with AUD CAD. So as you can see, we're on the daily time frame. We had a huge impulsive move to the downside. We had to fail to get that 1-2 third touch on this trend line. You can see it broke below. Looking to get a potential retest on this key psychological zone. And you can see the MAs did cross, so it's showing me that sellers have gained momentum or gained control. And so that's AUD CAD. We're looking to cash this down 100 pips to buy it potentially at this fourth touch on this trend line and at a key psychological zone as well. So that's AUD CAD. Euro JPY, we can see we had a false break of this flag pattern. And you can see we had some huge selling pressure coming down on the daily time frame. So we're looking to get a retest on at this previous support zone. So supports a resistance and potentially catch about 100 pips to catch it down to the 1-2-4 key psychological zone. So that's Euro JPY, and same with Euro USD. So essentially, you can see it did have this support zone to our left, had a huge impulsive move to the downside, and we're looking to get a correction before we can continue. So break, retest, continuation, and potentially catch it down to this 61 extension. Okay, so something else I am looking at, I really like how USD CAD is looking. You can see we had this inverted head and shoulders, huge impulse to the upside. You can see we had that flag pattern, huge impulse to the upside. And I'm looking to get this retest over here for a nice entry point. You can see we had some previous resistance. Okay, so USD JPY, you see we broke 1, 2, 3, impulse move to downside. We have support to resistance. MAs look like they're about to cross on the daily. We have the candlesticks are telling us we have huge selling pressure. So essentially, we need to read the candlesticks because every candlestick tells a story. Okay, so essentially, the market's like a book. Okay, so you have to be able to read the chapters, and what the words are telling you in order to understand what's going on. So essentially, you got to be able to move down to lower time frames and read what the market's telling you. So gold, we're still in that buy from last week in that members only chat. I think we're about 70, 60 pips in profit right now. We're looking to catch this up to the 1295 zone. If it does end up breaking this trend line, see if there's some support over here. If it ends up breaking this zone, we can potentially see some higher highs being formed. So pound AUD, we're still in this sell from last week. We can see we had an impulse to the upside in the correction. So we're trying to, just sell it down to get an entry here to buy at the 1823 or 1.83 thousand key psychological zone. And we do have some previous support and resistance. So it's a key zone. Okay, if we look in the past. Okay. So that's pound AUD. Along with, I'm really liking CAD JPY. I'm really liking this pair, so I'm just going to go ahead and start from scratch. So you can see we have 3 touches on this trend line. Okay, we also have an inverted head and shoulders. So we have the left shoulder, the head, and we have the right shoulder. And we can see that the candlesticks, just go ahead and plot this zone. Okay, so, and we also have a key Fibonacci zone. Okay, so it's right now at the 61 Fibonacci. Okay, so this is what I'm really liking. This is my edge. So essentially, I'm seeing some confluence in the zone. The candlesticks are slowing down. I'm seeing the candlesticks reject off this zone. So if we scale down to a lower time frame, I think there's a 1 hour. You see potential inverted head and shoulders on the 1 hour. and then we do have some divergence. So essentially what divergence means, you can see how price is going down right here. But if we go ahead and bring our divergence up, you can see it's going up. So essentially what this is telling us is price is still being sold, but the strength is being gained. So essentially that's manipulation. So that's divergence. So we can see some potential reversal pattern. So you can see we had an impulse, and I'm seeing this. I'm already in a buy. I'm seeing this continue make higher highs at least to the 61. Clear out this zone over here. Oh, I'm sorry, 27. Clear out this zone or 61 extension. Okay, I do see we are on an upward trend. We have higher highs and higher lows. And yeah, CAD, JPY, USD Chef, we had a huge impulse to the upside. We can see we can get a potential retest at these previous resistance zones. So we'll see what happens. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. NZDJ, NJ. So we can see we had this down channel, huge impulse to the upside. So I'm trying to see a correction. So I believe this is a 61 fib, and potentially you could ride this up. The reason I like this setup is just the risk reward on it. It's really, it's like I think 7-to-1 risk reward. So essentially that's what I'm looking at for NZD or NZD JPY. And keep in mind, the Japanese yen is on a bank holiday. I believe it's the longest holiday. So essentially, during the Asian session, there's going to be huge spreads and low volatility, but expect some spikes. So be careful with what you're trading, and always set your risk and your stop loss, and always know what you're risking. But here on NZD, you can see we are back at this previous zone that we broke out of. You can see on the daily, it was a huge, oh, I don't know what's going on. Okay, it's probably loading up. Okay, so we can see we are getting some rejection in this zone, and we can see in the past it was well respected. So we can see a potential bounce or break situation. I'm potentially seeing a potential buy if it breaks above this psychological zone, and potential break and retest. I am going to get in, so we'll see what happens. But if it breaks, we can potentially see some lower lows forming. Other than that, AD NZD. Okay, we see again it broke this down channel, nothing new. Impulse up to the upside. When we have a huge impulse up, we don't usually get a deep correction. I do have a 61 fib playing out and at 30.38 at the key psychological zone, which I'm expecting it to just reject out the zone. You can see already we're getting some rejection, so we'll see how it plays out. You know, we have to look on the higher time frames to see how the candlesticks are looking in, and then just scale down to the lower time frames to see what price action is telling us. But again, there's a lot of great setups this week. So yeah, that's basically it. There's a lot of great setups. Definitely, you know, always predefine your risk, set your stop loss, trade safe. I'm gonna upload this video on YouTube on our YouTube page. Definitely check it out. And if you guys have any questions with the members only chat, you know, feel free to hit us up. Again, I really appreciate everyone for hopping on this this call, and thank you guys so much.